Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where I finally had a name, or rather an idea for a name for our mercenary company. So the default is Rogues Gallery, and we're not going to stick with that, obviously. We are named Hotshot, that is our company commander, and our worst mech and our ancestral mech is a hoplite. So I was like, what about Hotshot's hoplites? That actually kind of works. I like it. So we're going to hop into the captain's quarters here and go to our customized company. And we're just going to change the name here to, and apparently we're taking a screenshot. That was not intentional. I do like going for Hotshot's Hoplites. Okay, perfect. We're naming it after our worst mech, and that will be wonderful. Now, I liked the colors that were here previously. This is all red right now, and I don't love that. So we could go for, like, our primary color being, like, this gold color, because that's the color our hoplite is. And then we could go for, like, I'm thinking about, like, Greek-inspired color theming, right? So we could go for, like, red, gold, even maybe a little bit of blue in this. Maybe something kind of like this. That could work. As far as our crest goes, what do we want to go for? Well, it could be basically anything. It doesn't really matter all that much. I'd like something that was like something that kind of invokes a hoplite appearance, right? Like a Greek helmet or something like that. I don't know if there's such an option. We can just scroll through here real quick and see what we've got. I'd be a little surprised if there wasn't like a Greek helmet, now that I think about it. I mean, that's kind of, that's more of a medieval helmet, to be honest. This one's kind of Greek. We could go with that. Yeah, that works. Sure. Okay, so we are now Hotshot's Hoplites. Perfect. So now that that is done, we can proceed forward. So it's going to take a while to get that hoplite fixed, right? Let's get the Scorpion and Arctic Fox done first. And we're going to have the financial report right now. So that's 400K down the drain. Understood. Next up, what are we going to have? We need to be making a decent amount of cash at this moment, of course. And our mech warriors are going to be back here in a couple of days. There we go. Our mech warriors are back now. So let's hop into the barracks. And let's do some training here. So we can grab a point of tactics for Beagle.
Training complete.
And what else do we have here?
What do you need, Commander? Standing by.
Well, HBFT here can take a point of piloting. That'll be fine for the moment.
Training complete.
Orders.
And everything else is probably fine. Yep, absolutely. So that looks good. And now we're not ready to deploy quite yet. We definitely want to get the Hunchback and Swordsman done. So we can do that. And then we can maybe just not deploy the Hoplite for the moment. So, okay, what is this? We've got a good deal here, apparently. So, for 1 million C-bills, we can get a random mech. Huh. Well, we don't care about Archangel. We only need it temporarily, huh? We only the bird is needed temporarily. I don't want to spend 1 million C-bills right now, and I feel like we've got enough mechs for the moment. We are going to allow him to try his scheme, but we're going to offer no support. Okay, he is now wounded. He suffered 2 injuries, and there we go. That's fine. We don't care. He's a backup mech warrior. He can be injured. So that's absolutely fine. We don't have 1 million C-bills to spend right now, to be honest. So we're going to finish up that swordsman, and that looks good. Okay, so next up, what do we want to do? Well, we've got enough mechs to deploy at this moment, for sure. So how do we want to do it? Well, we want to be making some money, and let's see what we can have available here. My eye is immediately drawn to some of these down over here. Training day? That seems pretty easy. That's a lot of pay. And we'd only be... No free priority salvage. We could sit about here. Target is Comstar, so this is going to be potentially spicy. And we're only going to be having one of our mechs on the field. So which one do we want to do? Well, we could bring, say, Phoenix Hawk Scorpion already, and 2 Phoenix Hawks and a Scorpion. Okay. We could bring our own Scorpion, which is our heaviest mech. We could also bring this Hunchback, which the Hunchback, I think, is a little bit more in terms of its damage output. I'm going to bring the Hunchback. That'll be fine. And which pilot is it that pilots the Hunchback? I think that is Harmony? No, that's the Scorpion pilot. It is Beagle. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do this, and let's see how this goes. I will see you guys after the loading is done. Okay, so here we are all loaded up and ready to go. Let's begin this mission. This will be very interesting. So I believe all of the trainees have to survive, right? If I remember correctly, that's how this works. Game is frozen right now. We'll get there in a moment, I'm sure. Actually, it's not frozen. It just isn't zooming. Exciting. Okay, well, that's absolutely fine. So we're going to move up here, and the question is, where are the Comstar forces? They're going to be about here. Okay, that was an odd zoom. Okay, so they're going to be out here, and if we want best LOS, it would be like here. Here, they would, basically anywhere we deploy, they're going to have the height. So I'm thinking somewhere out over this way. This is the future evac zone, which is interesting. We don't really have too much ability to deploy out over here unless we deploy way out over here, right? And that just kind of sticks here, which makes me think that they have additional reinforcements back here. So maybe we should stick with the original deployment location, which was going to be like up over here. So that would be somewhere around here or so. So let's do that for now. Okay. So they're going to be right up over here, right? And we want to pretty much crest this hill as soon as possible. So I'm going to have this Phoenix Hawk sprint forward. We're calculating its movement right now. There we go. So now we can sprint forward. We can take cover up over here. And that gives us vision on their level 2. So we can see that they have 5 out of the expected 6. That's a MASH truck and a laser technical. So those are not very threatening at all. Why do we have vision out over here? It's a little odd. I guess it's because of the LOS, but sure. They also have an Icarus, they have a Wolverine, and a Phoenix. Okay, this isn't too bad. So we're going to move forward with our Phoenix Hawk here, and I'd love to get up into this cover as well. This is turn 1, so we're not going to want to fire anyway. And let's see what they decide to do. The laser technical breaches the hill. Next turn, that's going to be... That and the MASH truck are going to be priority targets, for sure. I'm going to take the Hunchback up to here. We can't fire this turn, so that's absolutely fine. Wolverine is thinking about cresting the hill, but it hasn't done it yet. I'm going to take the Scorpion up to here, and next turn, we're going to be in a very good position here to wipe out these 2 vehicles very quickly. So I'm going to take the Phoenix Hawk up over here. I want to keep it in cover and not directly in the LOS of these. They're going to move, and they're going to be in LOS soon enough. But I want to move the Phoenix Hawk to here, and we can fire on either the MASH truck or the cargo truck. These are kind of terrible hit odds given the situation here. What do we got? Target move +7. I mean, it's got 8 evasive, so sure. We missed everything. Okay. So that's understood. That's fine for now. So the Wolverine moves up, fires on our Hunchback, and our Hunchback probably wants to start whittling down the armor on this Wolverine, most likely. The Phoenix Hawk can also move in and melee it, potentially from the side or from this kind of awkward front angle. This is not a great position here, unfortunately. This is actually maybe a slightly better position. They can position over here and rear arc attack our Phoenix or our Phoenix Hawk if we do that, though. I don't love this position. This Wolverine it's positioned fairly smartly. We can also just bypass it. come down over here and go for the cargo truck. Or position here and go for either the mash truck or the cargo truck. And the cargo truck is going to be the better option. I'm going to do this. I want guns off the field. This cargo truck does have guns. So let's see if we can get rid of this. We're in tracer ammo right now. Do we want to change that? We can't. Okay, that's the only type of ammo we've got. Noted. Okay, so down goes that cargo truck. It never got a chance to fire. I like it. Next up, they're going to move their Icarus into these woods, which is not surprising. They're going for the Phoenix Hawk. They did very little damage to it.
Light damage, Commander.
Cool. Okay, so next up is our Scorpion. I want the Scorpion to move up to here. It's sprinted, so we're going to take a penalty to our to hit here. But we can fire on either the mash truck or the Phoenix here, and our hit odds are actually better on the Phoenix. So I'm going to take this. We're probably going to miss, but let's see what happens. Yeah, that's what I expected.
Negative damage. Repeat. Negative
Regardless, we managed to take out one of their units, and that is a pretty big deal. They fired on our Phoenix Hawk there, and they got the ER PPC there, but they crit their own PPC with that. They misfired their PPC there. They used the alternate fire mode for close-range PPC shots, and that's not usually a good idea. We're going to move up with our Hunchback, and I want to fire on the mash truck ideally. The hit odds are slightly better on this Wolverine. I'm going to take it. We got 2 hits on the Wolverine. Okay. So the mash truck backs off, and I don't think the mash truck even has any weapons, really. So that's fine. Now our Phoenix Hawk can start to come in and flank these guys, right? And the idea here is I want to get a rear arc on this Phoenix. I want to kick it, and we could theoretically take out this Phoenix here. That's a successful melee attack. We penetrated the armor, but it wasn't a great set of weapon attacks. Okay, so this guy doesn't move until phase 9. We can move this Phoenix Hawk before then. Our Hunchback is going to engage up over here, and do we have any melee attack available? No, but we can position here or here. I'm going to take this position, and we can go for either the Icarus or the Wolverine. I'm going to continue focusing fire on the Wolverine. That will be fine. Once again, only 2 hits there, but that's understood. Now that we're closed in, this is going to start going quite a lot better. So this guy going for our Phoenix Hawk, that's fine. I don't care about that. Okay, so next up, our Phoenix Hawk is going to come in here and is also going to go for the rear arc attack on this Phoenix. Now, we can't actually kick from this position, presumably because it's too far downhill. Yeah, that's too far downhill. We could punch, but that would mean that we're not going to get to fire any of these weapons. Instead, what I want to do is I want to get into rear arc back over here. We're going to turn around, and we can fire on the Phoenix, or we can fire on the Icarus. Way better hit odds on the Phoenix. We didn't do a lot in the torso of this rear arc, but let's see what happens here. Okay, we did manage to get through a section of armor there, and they are moving in and rear arc attacking our Phoenix Hawk, but our AMS is actually intercepting that, so that's very good. Okay, next up, we've got this Scorpion, and to that end, I'm thinking about this Wolverine. Looks like we can't actually melee at this time, but we could get into this position, which gives us rear arc on both the Wolverine and the Icarus. And I'm going to take that. 42 or 52, we're going to take the 52. Thank you very much. Okay, so that was a structure exposure, but where was that structure exposed? Okay, they're doing some damage to the Phoenix Hawk. That's fine. Okay, that was in the arm. Not ideal there, but it'll do. So next up, I want to get our Wolverine, or rather our Scorpion. We can go for the rear arc on this Wolverine again. This is a kick ability right here. So 85, and we're not going to move the Scorpion, so we're not going to have any evasive. But that also means that our hit odds are going to be quite high. We successfully melee'd, which we are not surprised about. 85% chance there. Missed the PPC, and the SRMs hit nothing but armor. We did get a head hit there, so there's a pilot injury from that Wolverine, but that was not ideal under any circumstances. Next up, the Phoenix Hawk can actually move in and continue to focus on this Wolverine. We can hit the rear arc here, we can take the overheat, and this is actually absolutely fine. Let's do it. We missed the melee attack. That's very unfortunate. We had good odds on that, but it was worth a try. And we get that large laser in there, but it just didn't do as much as I'd hoped. So the Wolverine backs off and does not fire. At this point, the Hunchback can position up here, which gives us rear arc on this Icarus, or we can fire side arc on this Phoenix with obstructed LOS. I'm going to fire on the Icarus here, and let's see what we get done. We could theoretically kill this if we get good rolls, but it's unlikely. We did penetrate the armor in a couple of locations there. Okay. Definitely not the most ideal thing in the world, but we'll take it. I want to get in to the rear arc of this Phoenix again. We're going to kick it, and this could very, very easily kill this Phoenix, especially with these machine guns going into the rear arc there. I'm going to switch this over to burst. Hit odds are going to be absolutely fine, and we'll do theoretically more damage there. So let's see what we get done here. Successful melee. That was a lot of damage to the Phoenix. We didn't kill it, but it's hurting. It lost its primary armament as well. So it backs off, fires on our Phoenix Hawk. AMS doing work there. They do manage to get one missile in. That MASH truck is just kind of running around out over here. Does it have any weapons? I don't actually know if it does. So they're trying to backstab our Phoenix Hawk. No surprises there.
Reporting heavy damage.
Yeah, you're okay. You're okay. So this MASH truck does have 2 machine guns on it, I think. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to go for the rear arc on this Icarus for sure. I'm not going to fire the ER large laser because of heat, but we're going to see what we can get done on this.
Heading out.
So in we go. They're going to definitely hit rear arc on this Phoenix Hawk if they can, but we are going to succeed that attack, and then the other attack just hit armor. That's unfortunate. Yeah, they're definitely going for the internals on that Phoenix Hawk. That was expected.
I'm taking internal damage.
Okay, so next up, that MASH truck moves in. It can't really do anything at this moment. Phase 11 is going to be this guy. He's not going for the rear arc on the Phoenix Hawk. He should have. Instead, he went for front arc on the Phoenix Hawk. An interesting choice, to be sure.
Commander?
So the Scorpion is able to go after basically anything here. And I want to go after this Phoenix out over this direction. Ideally, it looks like we can't melee this. At least not from that position. Maybe we can get in on the Icarus here. Yes, but we have to take it from the front arc. Just because of the lay of the land. In that... Yeah. In that case, I would like to go up over here and melee the Wolverine from the rear arc.
Copy that, Commander.
Successful melee. That is a leg destruction. So the Wolverine's going to get knocked down. Let's see what we get into the rear arc. That's a meltdown.
Looks like I'll need a new target.
Okay. So that's a lot of heat, of course. This is all fire here, remember? It looks pink, but that's a known bug. And our Phoenix Hawk is, at this point, not doing so well on the heat front. So we're going to move it up over here, and it's just going to brace. We're looking to sink some heat.
I'm generating a lot of heat.
Yeah, I'm aware. That core meltdown was rough. So the Phoenix is attacking our Scorpion. No big deal there, but the Scorpion is shut down, so we need to keep that in mind. The Hunchback is overheated, and we need to move into the fire here. So we'll see what we can actually do. I don't think this is even worth pot-shotting. We're going to brace, and we'll sink some heat. Okay. Next round, we're in a better position here. So our Phoenix Hawk can get rear arc here, and I'm just going to melee. I'm not... actually, is that even worth it? We've only got a 29% hit chance.
Orders?
We may be better off slightly disengaging this Phoenix Hawk for the moment, jumping out of here. landing over here, bracing, and sinking heat. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. This Phoenix Hawk also overheated due to that meltdown, and I want to get over and step on this mash truck a little bit. I'm going to not fire the large pulse laser for sure. I'm not going to fire the medium lasers either. We'll just use something like this. We'll kick it in the rear arc. We could theoretically kill it, but our hit odds are not the best in the world. Yeah, we missed the kick, and that's not surprising. So we got a little bit of damage dealt there with the machine guns, but that's kind of irrelevant. So now the Hunchy is going to step forward, still through the fire, and we can fire on the Phoenix or the Icarus. The Icarus is the better hit odds, but our heat is definitely a concern. We would not want to fire the small laser for sure, and then we'd want to drop these medium lasers if we were going to drop anything. I'm going to do something like this. We're just going to pot shot 2 of these. And mostly, we're sinking heat. So we took out 25 armor. Cool. That sounds good. Next up, the Scorpion needs to restart, and that's all it can do. So the Phoenix backs off a little bit, goes for our Phoenix Hawk. Okay.
Systems holding.
AMS not doing a single thing there, but that's okay. So the Icarus backs off and doesn't really go for much of anything. This fire is dying out, and that looks good. So at this moment, the Phoenix Hawk is still heavily overheated. I'm just going to brace it and sink heat. And the Hunchback can move in over this way. This is rear arc on this Phoenix, and this Phoenix is very likely dead from this. That was kind of a terrible shot, but the pilot is now bleeding out with 1 activation remaining. So this guy is going to die after his next turn. So we no longer need to worry about him. We've got the Icarus over here, which I would love to kick from the rear arc, and we actually can, right over here. Do it. Successful kick. That is a leg destruction on that Icarus. And we miss all of the weapon attacks. Okay. Well, that's a knockdown on the Icarus, and let's see what happens here. That's at least a pilot injury. Okay. So that was definitely a pilot injury. He is at 1 of 3, pilot injured, health 2 of 3. Okay. So at this moment, we can go for either the Phoenix or we can go for the mash truck, and we're going for the mash truck here. We can fire all of our weapons, get a very small overheat. This is a very likely kill on the mash truck. This Phoenix Hawk is not going to have any evasive, but that's understood. Surprisingly, we did not destroy that mash truck. Our damage spread out horribly there, actually. So it moved up over here instead. And that's understood. So now this Phoenix is going to position over here, going for the rear arc of our Phoenix Hawk. Actually, was that side arc?
Damage is minor, Commander.
That might have been side arc. The Icarus is going to get up, and it's already overheated. So what's it going to do? It's limping because its leg was destroyed, and it just braces. Okay. So it's pretty donezo, to be honest. I'm going to come over here, and we're going to go for the Phoenix. We are going to have to take a side arc if we want to kick, but I do want to kick. So we're going to do something like this. This is an overheat. That's understood. We could just go for standard, and that would be sinking heat, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'd like to hit this guy rear arc with those machine guns for crit rolls, but this is good enough. Unfortunately, we missed the kick. And we missed basically everything there. That's kind of wild. That was some bad rolls right there, for sure. We're going to go rear arc on this Icarus once again. This is very likely to kill it. Oh, yeah. It's totally gone. At least it didn't melt down. So there's that. Cool. So next up is our Hunchy. The Hunchy is going to move up over this direction, and we're going to be firing on this Phoenix. This is front arc. We could kill it, but let's see. That could kill it. Oh! A core meltdown again. Okay. We've had a lot of core meltdowns, but that's the risk of taking out the CT, right? And that's understood. We failed the shutdown override on our Hunchback at that low of heat? Really? I mean, we did overheat, but man, that was not much overheat. So at this point, the Phoenix Hawk is going to make its way back in. Now, we could jump and be able to fire on the mash truck. I'm going to do so. Our heat is going to be a bit up there, and jumping is going to make this a little hard to hit. But we can fire something like this. Very slight overheat, pot-shotting in, and only 45 damage to the front arc there. I mean, it's fine. I was hoping to get it in here, but it didn't happen. So next up is our Scorpion. The Scorpion is just going to position up over here, and we're just going to take pot shots at this thing until it dies, which will happen soon. In fact, there it goes. Engine destruction. Okay. Primary targets are down, and we actually need to go to the LZ. That's surprising. Well, let's sink our heat in case there's anything else that spawns, but I don't think that there will be. We need to restart the Hunchback, which apparently took a bunch of heat from this, which I'm also surprised about. It must have just been on the edge of that. Okay. Well, the Phoenix Hawk needs to restart, and there's an inbound blip. Okay. So we just exited combat. We can evac, or we can take out the blip. I'm going to start moving towards evac right now. The Phoenix Hawk needs to restart again. There we go. And the Scorpion is going to start getting out of here. Okay, so what are they going to land over here? Merrick markings. Okay, so we can engage the new targets or not. I'm leaning towards not, mostly because we probably could take them, but do we have a reason to? For now, I'm going to move towards evac, and we're probably just going to leave. VTOLs? With eye rockets? Well, that changes things. That definitely changes things. I'm going to jump into cover here. And then we're going to brace. Yeah. So I think we should take these out, to be honest. So let's go ahead and turn around our Hunchback, and we'll start taking pot shots up at these. So 27 and 27, sure. These guys don't have much HP, and we'll see what we can get done here. That's quite a lot of damage to him. So we see 3 VTOLs, and we don't know what the 4th enemy is, if there is one. There may only be 3. I've been noticing that a lot of these lances are -1 from the size that they're canonically supposed to be. But let's move our Scorpion up over here. We can take a pot shot at either of these. It's the same hit odds. I'm going to go for the one we already damaged. We missed everything. Okay. So that's noted. Indeed it did. So that's going to be this VTOL moving. It closes in, goes for our Hunchback. Not doing very much. Okay, so the Phoenix Hawk is going to turn around over this direction, and we're going to be firing on... Hit odds are best on this guy. I'm going to pot shot this for sure. We missed everything. Okay. I mean, that's not terribly surprising. It's hard to hit these. So they're going to move this Ripper at this point. I'm hoping that they don't have any additional eye rockets. That's the dream. We can see that they are done with their quad missiles there. So that looks good. And the Hunchy at this point is going to move in over this way. So we're going to continue to fire on this Ripper or this one. Nope, the hit odds are terrible. So let's see what we get done here. Nothing. Unfortunate. We should have hit with at least one of those, but it's fine. So the Phoenix Hawk here is going to turn around. I want to keep it in cover for the moment. We've got that arm exposure, and we can fire on... This is the best hit odds here. So we're just going to pot shot that, and we actually got it. Fantastic. Okay, so that's one VTOL gone, and we can see that that is indeed 33%. So that looks good. Okay, next up is our Scorpion. I'm going to be sending the Scorpion to chase down this Ripper VTOL up over here. We failed the hit, but that's absolutely fine. Okay, next up, what do we got? This guy moves in and does absolutely nothing. These two can go after it for sure. So the Phoenix Hawk can position about here. I don't really care that much about the rear arc. Are we better off with burst fire here? No. Okay, light him up. We missed everything. I was really hoping that the machine guns would be able to get a hit in there, but unfortunately they were not. So next up would be the Phoenix Hawk. I'm going to position it out over here for evasive, and we're going to pot shot this Ripper. We may get it. We did not. One of these days, all we need is a single hit to get in there. And the Hunchy is going to move up over here. We have to choose which one we want to shoot at, and I'm going to choose this one. Hit odds are low, but let's see. We got one hit on it, so its armor is substantially weakened.
Waiting for orders.
Next up, I'm going to move the Scorpion in over here, and we're going to fire this. And there we go. It's gone. We hit the PPC. That was only a 17% chance. We'll take that.
Target down.
Beautiful. Next up is our Phoenix Hawk. And the Phoenix Hawk is going to position right up over here. That's not much evasive, but let's see what we get done here. 30% chance. Well, that was an internal hit, but it only did 1 damage.
Starting to cook.
So next up, we need to hit this guy from, like, the same arc over here. 1 hit goes in and it's dead. That was 0 hits. Okay. Very sad.
Negative damage.
We should probably be firing in burst fire, because that gives us 3 rolls rather than the 1 roll. That is a change to how machine guns work. Where did this guy go? Down over here? Okay. So the Hunchy is going to position here. This is a pretty long-range shot for medium lasers, but we'll take it. Ooh, that might be it dead. Fantastic.
Hostile removed.
Okay. All targets eliminated.
Mission
Perfect.
successful.
Rippers are pretty easy to take out, so I was just like, let's just do it. We'll probably get a bonus from that, and we're making a lot of C-bills from this mission, so that looks great. Our Hunchy didn't even take all that much damage, so this is going to be a very profitable mission for us. I love it. That's absolutely wonderful. So the question is, what salvage, what might we be interested in from that? Well, to be honest, they didn't really have that much that was good. So there's that. We're mostly here for the money. So we got an extra 100,000 from destroying all of that, and contract payment increased by 10% because everyone survived. Beautiful. So we got 1.1 million C-bills out of that. That is a big, big win. Okay, fantastic. So we don't care about the repairs here. The Hunchback took a small amount of armor damage. That's not a big deal at all. So these guys, they are not ours, and that's absolutely fine. What else do we have here? Well, we could start taking, we could take, one of those Ripper VTOLs. That's very interesting, actually. We have VTOL slots that we can do there. 1 + 12. Can we even take this? Yeah, we can't do that. Okay. So that's noted. We could take Ripper VTOL parts. I wouldn't mind getting some vehicles going, but we also need to keep in mind these vehicles, they're probably going to go kaboom pretty regularly, right? So that is something we need to figure on as well. The salvage here isn't very good. That's for sure. This is specifically an aircraft weapon. This is a wing-mounted weapon. So we can't use this on, mechs, even though it would be really, really good as a one-shot weapon. That's probably why it's wing-mounted only. We can go for machine guns. And, yeah, we weren't here for the salvage. I'm going to grab this Wolverine part, and we'll call it good. Okay, so what did we get? We got some Ripper VTOL parts, blah, 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 medium chem lasers. Nothing too major here. Okay, we weren't here for the salvage. That was not the primary goal of this mission. This mission was a funding mission. So that is absolutely wonderful. In terms of damage, I'm expecting this to be very low, like 1,200 C-bills in 3 days, something like that. I don't know. We'll see. As soon as Yang gets around to telling us, anyway. It was only the Hunchback that took damage, and that was very light damage. So I'm really expecting very, very little, and we'll be able to redeploy pretty soon. Our biggest delay on that is going to be the pilot for the Hunchback's recovery. That's going to be the longest thing there. And we could swap him out. That's an option. We could use one of our backup pilots. So we definitely have options here. This puts us in a pretty good spot. I want a couple more of these like high-paying missions in order to start getting that Junkyard Leopard going, because that's going to be a big power spike for us when we can start fielding a second Lance. 12,000 in 5 days. Okay, that's a little more on the C-bill front than I expected, but it's okay. So we're back up to almost our starting amount of funds, which is absolutely great. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Spock, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.